for the Florida teenager who lost her life on the Carnival cruise earlier this month. Investigation still ongoing. The celebration of life happened today for that teenager. And you can see there from a post on the New York Post on X saying a grieving father said his family had their world turned upside down after a maid on a Carnival Horizon cruise made a horrifying discovery. The lifeless body of an 18-year-old Anna Kepner stuffed under a bed and wrapped in a blanket. Right now, the FBI is investigating the stepbrother here in this case. We want to continue to talk about it and bring in a friend here of LiveNOW from Fox, Ken Belkin, legal analyst and attorney. Thanks so much for joining us here, Ken. And yeah, I mean, this story right as it plays out, I mean, has all the makings of a documentary that you'd see on Netflix or anything. But when we're talking about this investigation here, I mean, let's just first talk about this is in international waters at the time. Just talk a little bit about some of really the legal ways here in this investigation.
So, most murders, they are prosecuted on the state level. They're state crimes. This case, because it happened at sea, it falls under maritime jurisdiction, which is federal jurisdiction. So the FBI is investigating it, and presumably the Department of Justice would be the prosecuting authority. It's very serious. They have yet to determine the cause of death, and I think that's really going to come down to whether or not charges are filed. Is what was the cause of this young woman's death?
And Ken, let's talk about this is an investigation that is happening after the fact, meaning that when this investigation started, really, I mean, we're talking about the ship back at port here. Talk about maybe some of the difficulties doing an investigation, trying to contact people and talk with them when everything is so scattered right now.
Well, I would think, immediately you want to figure out who she was in contact with in the immediate moments before she was deceased. So they would want to get some DNA samples. Being that it's a Carnival cruise ship, I'm not sure how well they've kept the area sequestered or roped off from the general public or other members of maybe the Carnival staff. So it's unclear as to whether the authorities were working with a clean crime scene. But it's very disturbing the way her body was found under a bed covered with life vests and blankets. So seemingly someone was involved in covering up her death.
Yeah, no doubt about that. AP reporting this evening that the FBI is zeroing in on the stepbrother. Talk about when we're talking about a blended family investigation, how does this work when we have family members that are one grieving, but now one may turn into a prime suspect?
Well, look, the FBI is doing what I would assume to be a very thorough investigation. I am sure they are meeting with everyone. I'm sure they've tracked surveillance footage on that cruise ship. They probably have comprised a pretty detailed timeline of her goings and comings in the immediate hours before her death. The surveillance is ubiquitous. There are cameras everywhere, especially on a Carnival cruise ship. Not that I take many Carnival cruises, but I know from a liability standpoint, they want to see what's going on with their guests. They want to see what's going on with their staff. So they probably know down to the minute what she was doing, where she was, and who she was with. So that could be the reason that they are presumably, as we're being told, zeroing in on the stepbrother. He is a minor, so that does complicate things with prosecuting him. But first they have to announce the cause, and we need to see, they have to have probable cause to charge him. So at a bare minimum, there has to be some evidence to charge him.
It's so interesting here in this case, so many different variables as well, but it seems like maybe the common denominator in so many cases, not just this one, is that usually people have, their cell phone on them pretty much at all times. That could be maybe a big part of this investigation to kind of track the comings and goings of someone.
Yeah, absolutely. Cell data, it pings you off the towers. They can pinpoint your location, so they can figure out through those means as well who it might have been with her. It's a little tricky when you're dealing with a cruise ship with a lot of people, but if they have that coupled with surveillance, maybe coupled with eyewitnesses that they were interviewing, she might have been seen in the hours or minutes before her death by other people on the ship. It's a Carnival cruise. Presumably, there's a lot of people just milling about.
Yeah, no doubt. And yeah, like you said there, the most troubling though is the way that this body was located and the stuff around the body as well, with just the life jackets poured on top there. It's going to be very interesting to see how it all comes together in this investigation. But Ken, lastly, how does when family members might be chirping in and out about a case, and how does that play a role in the investigation? Does it help it? Does it hurt it?
They're going to be wanting to take statements from everyone. So I think anything they can get their hands on to work with that might turn up leads, that might lead to facts or other evidence, I think they're going to deem useful. So it is useful that people are talking. It's tough when people clam up and don't talk. But again, we shouldn't jump to conclusions that this was a murder. We don't know the cause of death just yet. Just because the body was covered in such a fashion doesn't preclude the possibility of an accidental death. A lot of people have speculated it could be an overdose. Maybe there was an overdose and someone got afraid and didn't know what to do. You never know what it is. But we are going to learn, I would think, in the next couple of days. And there are a lot of whispers about the stepbrother being charged.
Yeah, so true. Ken, great to have you on as always. Thanks for breaking down this complex case. We appreciate it as always.
Thanks for having me, Mike.